Thousands have sought protection in special camps, too frightened to go home. From one of these, Ken Rees has sent this report. It was filmed yesterday by an ITN crew, but delayed by an Indian government clampdown on satellite communications.
We travelled to a refugee camp outside Delhi. The police had strict orders not to let us in, despite pleas from some of the Sikhs inside. We saw many more like this who lived, but many died, and their widows were mourning today. You could not move in the courtyards without bumping into or tripping over people. Many were washing outside in gutters in the road. Sikhs place great store on cleanliness, and their religion calls for an uncut beard and long hair. Many had their heads shaved by the mobs.
जो ना जाने हक की ताकत जो ना जाने हक की ताकत रब ना देवे उसको हिम्मत रब ना.
The years and decades following November 1984 saw spirited reorganization around the violence and survivors, especially those in Delhi where the worst kind of violence had been best recorded. Education campaigns, internal and external, vigils, protests, art, and litigation against severe odds all helped slowly change the understanding and rhetoric around what happened in India's capital from a riot to a pogrom. Further evolution in understanding and speaking about 1984 requires listening to everyday stories. The Living History Project was born out of the belief that every Sikh alive in 1984 has a story to tell. These stories, together, tell a larger story, not all consistent, not all in line with the prevalent narrative. All the more reason to spend this month learning and relearning.
Even in Bangalore, there was a mob that came to the Gurdwara Sahib and all, but so at that time it was mostly we being aware that something really major is happening and you got to be caught.
ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਗੋਆ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਅਟੈਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਾਫਿਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਕੁੱਟਿਆ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਕੀਤਾ.
After November 84, after the killings, after about a month or so, I was staying with a family. They were farmers, so they were connected to the revenue department. And all these surveys are done through the revenue department. So they told me that Patwari had come and he was asking how many people have got their hair cut after this, and they are collecting these figures from everywhere. Rajiv wants to know what has been the effect of what he did to the Sikhs in Delhi and all throughout the country.
Later on we recall the statements from Rajiv Gandhi saying that bada ped girta hai to dharti hilti hai. But I want to ask him, ek ped gira to dharti hili to 20,000 sardaron ko mara. Why nothing happened at that time? Tab dharti kyun nahi hili?
तदे जड़ी लास्ट स्पीच उन्होंने दी है उड़ीसा जड़ी वो कड़ी कड़ी बजा रहे थे अगर मुझे कुछ हो गया तो मेरे खून की एक एक बूंद मेरे खून की एक एक बूंद बस वो खून की एक एक बूंद बजाई गए और उसकी लाश दिखाई गए खून की एक एक बूंद वो फिर नारे बना ले खून का बदला खून. So it was so meticulously well planned. और फिर वो जरा उसकी डेड बॉडी एनएचएस दिखाते रहे उसका नतीजा ये होया कि राजीव गांधी वन विद द मेजोरिटी ऑफ वोट्स उन्होंने जिन्नियां वोटां मिलियां उन्नियां पंडित नेहरू नूं नहीं सी मिलियां कदी. So they took full political advantage out of her death and the death was very meticulously planned. अच्छा फिर उन्होंने की कीता सी इन्ना वेल प्लान्ड सी कि ਉਹਦੇ ਮਰਨ ਤੋਂ 1 ਮਹੀਨਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਈਵਨ ਕਿਰਪਾਨਾਂ ਉਹ ਥਾਣਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਜਮ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਜਿਸਟਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਔਰ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਸਤੌਲ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਜਮ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਲਈ ਸੀ
But there was a lot of palpable anger against the Sikh community, which the most striking thing was in our own hostel amongst doctors who were Hindus or Sikh or non-Sikhs. And that was obvious. So there were other parts of it. In coffee house discussions, the general accepted version was that Sikhs needed to be put in their place.
I have sensed, people not being very comfortable talking about it, especially the June part. November part, I've sensed our community being very comfortable and openly talking about it. The June part, at least for many years, I didn't see people being comfortable because
ਜਦੋਂ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅਟੈਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਤੀ ਆ ਨਵਾਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੈ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਣ ਗਏ ਜਿੱਦਣ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅਟੈਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਜੀ ਨਵਾਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੈ ਹੱਥੀ ਚੂੜੇ ਸੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਕਹੀਏ ਵੀ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਵੀ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਦੱਸ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਵਾਉਂਦੇ ਬੜੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਜਾਣ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਰਾਜੀ ਗਈ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਦੋਂ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਪਗੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਕਦਮ ਮੱਥੇ ਟੇਕਣ ਪੰਜਾਬੋਂ ਕੇ ਨੇ ਆਖਣਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਆਇਆ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਾਰ ਨਾ ਦੇਵੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਈ ਸਾਲ ਸੰਡਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ
Many Sikhs fleeing to safety in the Punjab had their lorries seized and burned.
25th November night when we landed in Palam Airport, as New Delhi Airport was then called, and there were thousands and thousands of families from across India who could afford to fly to New Delhi, and there was only one train, Shah-e-Punjab, that would take the people or the refugees to Punjab. And the pictures that we see from 47, from archives, from Time magazine or some other sources, about people sitting on top of trains and those bogies are loaded, and I have seen that at the at Palam Airport.
Every phone call, every piece of news was just more that has happened, more along the lines of family members, distant relatives, friends. And I think to me what was hard was that was even harder was growing up in Delhi as I did. I didn't have any Sikh friends. I had primarily Punjabi Hindu friends. Nobody called to check how we were doing. The neighbors were good, everything was good, but friends didn't call. That was hurtful. That was very, very hurtful. I thought that was horrible, and that caused this big rift, which I don't think I've been able to ever overcome.
Even though it's very late, we should have done this all along. But knowing stories, especially knowing people's accounts firsthand, recording our history, and then analyzing it, that's very important. So I'm really glad that you're doing it.
From a social engineering perspective, if 1984 had not happened, we would have remained a very ordinary community, moving along steadily. We do well wherever we go. We are nation builders, but there would have been a steady improvement in the graph. The fact that 1984 happened is the fact that we had to deal with these massive challenges, made us a better community and a bigger community and a more successful community.